You know, it's the great God debate. We're going to show you what happened when Dinesh D'Souza squared off with Christopher Hitchens. That's coming up next. All right, well, joining us now with a reaction, the author of the book, What's So Great About Christianity, Dinesh D'Souza. Didn't he have a point, Dinesh, that, in fact, Einstein was a deist, and many of our founding fathers who are often presented as if they embraced Christianity as it's practiced today, were they not also deists who, as Hitchens pointed out, kind of believed in creation, but then kind of let the world take care of itself?
Well, first of all, the meaning of deism is that there is a transcendent God who set into motion the universe. So deism is completely consistent with theism. Deism is not the same as Orthodox Christianity, but if you look at the American founders, the vast majority of them were in fact Orthodox Christians. Even Benjamin Franklin, who's often described as a deist, often called for prayer for God to intervene in the universe and help the American experiment.
You know, Thomas Jefferson rewrote the Bible and took the Gospels out to the Jefferson Bible. Can you imagine a politician today rewriting the Bible, taking out the Gospels, and how that person would be regarded in today's political hierarchy?
Right, but remember that Jefferson was probably the least orthodox of all the founders, and even Jefferson, even unorthodox Jefferson, when it came to specifying what is the source of our rights, he said the source of our inalienable rights is none other than the Creator. He could think of no other source of rights other than God. So in that sense, even the American experiment is based on divine right, but it's not the divine right of kings, but it's extended to the people.
But the debate between, I guess, conservative or orthodox theism and deism is to what extent is God involved. But give me the basis of your debate with Christopher Hitchens. To prove the existence of God, is it not incumbent upon you or anybody who claims there is a God to have to prove that versus those who claim there is none? You can't prove a negative. So where lies the responsibility to prove that philosophy?
Well, I don't think that this is just a debater's game of trying to make a proof. It's ultimately what way of thinking makes sense of our universe. Look, if we see the laws of nature, we find there's enormous intelligence embodied in the laws of nature. It's taken science hundreds of years to excavate this intelligence. Look at Kepler's laws, Newton's inverse square law, Einstein's laws. And my point is, if scientists are spending all this brain power trying to decode the intelligence and the laws of nature, who encoded it? Who put it there? Is it even reasonable to suggest that the laws of nature created themselves or just popped into existence? I think it makes a lot more sense to posit some kind of a creator who ultimately reflects that intelligence and embodies it.
You know something, Dinesh, and too bad Christopher Hitchens wasn't able to make it tonight because he was supposed to be debating you here. But, you know, atheists really are suggesting here that the universe has eternally existed. In and of itself, a far greater miracle. You know, I simply say that they believe that something can come out of nothing, otherwise how would it possibly exist?
The reason that the atheists are upset is because in What's So Great About Christianity, I'm challenging them on their own ground, not throwing Bible verses at them, but using reason and science and evidence. A lot of scientists, for example, have noticed that if you change the parameters of nature even a little bit, the force of the electron or the electromagnetic force or the strong nuclear force, the gravitational force, if you change them even slightly, we would have no universe as we know it, no life. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So the universe appears to be fine-tuned for life, and the atheists have no explanation for that.
Well, are you aware of the work of Anthony Flew? I've just recently picked up a book. I mean, he's a well-known atheist, philosopher, distinguished professor for many, many years in philosophy, and he, in 2004, embraced the idea that there is a God, and he did it with reason and logic to get there. I mean, if you just use simple reason and logic, you know, you have to believe that either the universe eternally existed, which is a stretch in and of itself, but it also that all these materials came together and that life magically and mysteriously formed in such a sophisticated and complicated and, you know, unique way, which is a far greater stretch than to believe that there's something bigger than ourselves, no?
I think the larger theme here, Sean, is simply that a generation ago, the atheism was not a serious option. Now we have a concerted attack on theism and specifically on Christianity. Many Christians are not prepared for that. They're used to discussing these issues by quoting the Bible. What we have to realize is we need to prepare our children, our young people, to be able to use reason and science against the new atheism. Otherwise, it will have a tremendous impact in causing people to fall away from the faith.
Oh, it's good to see the debate with you and Christopher and see him in a semi-lucid moment for once, and we appreciate you being with us. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.